All right, welcome back to our monthly Shopify update series. This is going to be a very short video as we only have 11 or 12 or so updates for this month. And that is because Shopify Summer Editions just came out. It was amazing. It was huge. I did a whole breakdown of it. Go check out my channel for that. But because of that, a lot of the developers seem to take their summer break right after that. So very quick update video for this month. But if you like learning about Shopify, subscribe. We do this video every single month. So starting here on June 2nd, we have a new feature here coming to the Shopify POS. It says customize multiple versions of the same product variant in the cart. So it says sell multiple versions of the same product with different customizations in a single transaction. When customers want multiple versions of the same product variant, with different customizations through line item properties, you can now add each variation to the cart without needing separate transactions. So for example, when you're selling multiple coffee orders with different names or picture frames with various custom sizes, anything to do that's very specific to the specific product variant, you can now do that by having multiple versions of the same product in the cart for POS. And this is because in the Shopify Summer Editions, POS had a massive update with version 10 that came out. So we're seeing a lot of brand new features come to the POS because of that. Just a small change here on June 9th, shipments to Malta now require a postcode. It just says a very small change here that prior to this update, postcodes, postal codes were optional. But Shopify has moved the postcode field to required to align with requirements of Malta Post. So a very specific update for shipments to Malta, if you're in Malta or if you're sending packages to Malta. Just a small little change there for the checkout screen. As it says, postcodes are required on both domestic and international orders, regardless of shipping method selected. Very minor change there, but interesting to see shipping changes, shipping and checkout developments. This is the little update here that wasn't mentioned in the changelog before, but it has been out for a while. So it says menus can now be duplicated in the Shopify admin. So a duplicate button is now available on the menu detail pages in the Shopify admin that create exact copies of menus with all links intact. So there's a small improvement coming to the admin. And this is talking about your navigation, your headers, your footers, just your existing menus in the Shopify admin, where you can now select the menu itself, click duplicate, and it will create an exact copy of the menu with all of the links intact to streamline the process of creating similar navigation structures across your site. This is similar to one of the features that was added to the Shopify admin, where you're using your sections and your blocks. You can now also copy and paste sections and blocks for your online store in the online theme editor by right-clicking, clicking copy, and clicking paste. But then if you right-click a section and block, you also have the option to click duplicate as well. So we're seeing this duplicate feature being added to more areas of the Shopify admin. An improvement here for analytics, it says the new analytics experience is now the default for all stores. Analytics is now faster, flexible, more intuitive to use, and is the new default for all stores. So the new analytics experience has been teased for a while. I believe it was first introduced last summer editions, and it was slowly but surely making its way out. And now, as we can see, a completely reimagined analytics experience is now the default for all stores, and it's focusing on more real-time data, custom dashboards to conveniently monitor your important metrics, build data explorations to analyze any combination of metrics and dimensions. And with the new in-context querying, you can use Shopify QL to write custom queries if you like. There's a lot of fancy words here. At the end of the day, what the new analytic experience does is it fixed a lot of limitations to the prior analytic. It changed the way some data was displayed, some report names and frameworks, some events, some tracking events, some metrics, a few changes to how checkout is counted and started. And this all comes down to different attribution models, tracking, and how you use your analytics. So some of you might find that really interesting, very impactful. Some of you may not. And if not, at least we can enjoy some of the brand new colors that come with it. Speaking of the new analytics experience, this goes hand in hand with this update right here. So this is a new update here. It says you can use Shopify QL to query your store's data from any analytics report. Use Shopify QL and the new query editor to get insight into your store's performance. So one of the main things that changed in the analytics was the ability to create sort of custom reports. So there is this new query editor that allows you to use Shopify QL to custom query your stored data from any report page. And querying your data offers flexibility and a lot of control over your analytics reporting, so you can get the answers you need faster. If you don't want to use Shopify QL or this querying or custom setup, you can just use the reports that they give you. But to give you full flexibility of everything that your analytics and what the new analytics offers you, there's this Shopify QL that allows you to do as much digging and as much deep diving as you'd like by using the query editor that's found at the top of the report page to see any of the relevant data that you'd like. It's interesting because Sidekick, Shopify's AI, Shopify Sidekick, also sort of does the same thing here. There's been a lot of updates to Shopify QL because no one really used it that much because it looks so complicated. Now with Shopify Magic and Sidekick and AI, you can take very plain language and it'll spit you out a nice report that should accurately reflect what you inputted here. But I'm not too sure what the difference would be to going to the report page and using Shopify QL in the query editor than just asking Sidekick to make a report for you. And then also, depending on what plan you're on, you have access to custom reports if you're on a very, very higher tier plan. So this kind of is a ongoing, moving update that I'm sure we won't see the end of. Here's an interesting little update on June 12th. Reply directly to customers who submit a Shopify form. So form submission email notifications now contain the customer's email as the reply to address. Okay, so there's a bunch of things going on in this small marketing improvement. So the first thing is obviously Shopify Forms. Shopify Forms is a Shopify made and developed app that is a little pop-up on your website, and that allows you to collect customers' email addresses primarily, but you can also use Shopify Forms to collect very specific information like names or birthdays, and you can do that by creating meta fields and adding them to your Shopify form. This goes hand in hand with email marketing and collecting customer information. The update here specifically says that when a customer submits a very specific form, you can get a notification. And then you could also email that customer directly because the customer's email address is now visible in the form and the notification that you get, so that you can send a email directly to that customer. And so this is important because forms can be used for all types of things. And in the example here, it says like requesting a quote or inquiring about customer service. And so it's interesting because Shopify form used to be very basic. Every email marketing app, third party or Shopify made, needs some form in some way to collect email addresses. And that was basically the whole purpose of Shopify forms. Recently, in the last few months, we have seen a lot of updates come to Shopify form in the form of meta fields, customizable meta fields. Maybe you are collecting customer information, maybe like a birthday, input your name, your first name, your email, and your birthday, and receive a special discount or a special surprise on your birthday. The only way to get that birthday information is if you create a meta field on your form and customer submits that information, and then that is saved in the customer field in the Shopify admin. And then you can use that customer information to segment your customers, and this all go hands in hand with excellent marketing strategy. So a fun little update here, one that hasn't really been mentioned before and is genuinely a brand new update. It wasn't in summer editions and I haven't seen it before. So very, very interesting. Just a quick little improvement, but opens the door to a lot of potential. Okay, this is a very interesting update here. I've never seen anything like this before, and it wasn't mentioned in any editions, summer or winter, any years past summer or winter editions. So it says introducing USDC on base with Shopify payments. Accept USDC as a payment method in guest checkout and shop pay. So let me just read this through because it's actually quite interesting. We're actively rolling out USDC on base to Shopify payment merchants in eligible markets. Merchants will be able to accept USDC, a US dollar digital currency, on the base network, on the base payment network. Customers can check out with hundreds of supported crypto wallets, and by default, merchants will receive payouts in a local currency with no foreign exchange or multi-currency fees. Alternatively, merchants can claim USDC by connecting any crypto wallet that supports the base network. Tap into new markets, save fees on USDC. Okay, so a lot just happened. Okay, so obviously Shopify Payments is Shopify's in-house payment gateway. That's available to a lot of countries now, thanks to the summer editions update that just happened. USDC is a US dollar digital currency, So it is part of the crypto network. However, USDC means that it's tied to the US dollar, and they say this makes it a lot more stable because it's tied to the US dollar. So this update is introducing USDC on Base to Shopify Payments. And Base is a way or a payment method that's connected to Shopify Payments where people can pay with supported crypto wallets. This is really interesting. I've never heard of anything like this. This is sort of a huge addition to payment methods and payment gateways that have been on Shopify for decades and decades. Now, whenever a massive update like this happens, it always rolls out very, very slowly. As we saw in our Shopify Summer Editions video that we just created in the summer, Shopify Payments has been rolling out to country after country after country for a very, 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 very long time. And this past Summer Editions, it just got rolled out to a bunch of countries. Its biggest expansion I've ever seen in one kind of go. Now we're seeing this introduction of Base and crypto wallets and crypto payments in USDC, which I'm sure will take a long time to roll out because right now it's just in early access. And once it's out of early access, it'll probably only be eligible to merchants in the United States, and it will slowly roll out from there. But very interesting update. Didn't see this one coming because it's so close to Summer Editions. I'm not sure why they didn't just put this in Summer Editions if it's such a big deal. Maybe it's in early access. Maybe they're not super confident in it. Maybe this is just the first step and they're testing the waters. But a very, very interesting little update of where Shopify and Shopify Payments is going in the future. Will it affect any of you? Will you be taking orders by crypto wallets immediately? No. But interesting to see nonetheless. A much more straightforward and familiar update here instead of the USDC base update is key product bundle metrics are now available in the Shopify Bundles app. So this is a new update in terms of analytics. The Shopify Bundles app now shows key metrics to help you assess product bundle performance. Makes perfect sense. You can now see how your product bundles are performing within the Shopify Bundles app. Monitor key metrics like bundle total sales, bundle orders, top total sales, and most ordered bundle. You can click on any of the 4 metrics to open a detailed report in analytics. Each report includes visualizations and tables so you can explore your data, spot trends, and customize your view to suit your specific needs. This last sentence is sort of talking about the new analytics. That's another little tidbit of information of what the new analytics does. Visualizations, tables, explore your data, spot trends, and customize your view. But the Shopify Bundles app isn't new. It's been around for a very, very long time. And as we know, the Shopify Bundles app is a way of taking a bunch of products and bundling them into one product. And so instead of having 3 products in the cart, it would add one bundle product, which includes these 3 products. And you can use this to sell inventory that might be expiring, inventory that you don't sell anymore. You can then usually mark this at a little bit of a discount. And the end goal of using Bundles and Bundles app is to increase your average order value over time. It's a very key strategy and can be implemented in a ton of businesses, no matter what you're selling. And the Shopify Bundles app is free and made and developed by Shopify. It works very, very well. So the key update and the key improvement here is that the Bundles app is specifically getting key monitoring metrics: bundle total sale, bundle orders, top total sales, and most ordered bundles. This update here is a little bit more developer stuff. So Flow, the Shopify Flow app, now uses version 2024-10 of the GraphQL admin API. So Flow now uses 2024 GraphQL admin API, which includes changes to the products query, gift card endpoints, and more. You can take a look at the notes here if you'd like, if you're very, very interested in this sort of developer stuff. Nothing more really to get into here, as we're really starting to venture into more developer information here, which we don't cover on this channel. All right, 2 updates left on this shorter summer monthly update video. So it says Google Pay is now available in Checkout Kit. So customers can check out using Google Pay in your mobile app. This is an interesting update because honestly, I haven't really heard the term Checkout Kit before, and I've been doing this for almost a decade now. But Checkout Kit is just sort of a word that talks about Shopify's checkout and Shopify's checkout tools and apps and payment gateways in person, on the app, in the admin, all in one. That's what Checkout Kit is referring to. The update basically just says Google Pay is now available as an express checkout option. So when you're in checkout and you see the express checkout buttons at the top, maybe Shop, maybe PayPal, maybe Google Pay and Apple Pay if available. It just says the checkout kit now supports Google Pay in checkout, giving your customers another way to complete their purchases through your mobile app. Google Pay works with your existing checkout customizations and is available alongside other express checkout options. Just a small little update there. And then the last update of the month, once again, talking about the brand new analytics experience. So it says live view benchmarks and customer cohort analysis are supported to the new analytics experiences. Live view benchmarks, customer cohort analysis reports have been migrated to the new analytics experiences and are now available. So what this is saying is that live view benchmarks and the customer cohort analysis report, all previously available in the old analytics, are now supported in the new analytics. So this paragraph is important here just because with the migration, because it is essentially a migration from the old to the new analytics, there is a lot of data in those reports, historic data. And as we know, the number one use for analytics is comparing period to period, and that can include year over year information. So the migration of all this data, all those individual reports, all of those metrics, including live view benchmarks and customer cohort, looks like takes a little bit of time. Some migration isn't actually completed yet, but I think this is all this update is saying, that the live view benchmarks and customer cohort analysis are now migrated over to the new analytics experiences. It says with live view, you can track flash sales, drops, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and other promotional events with a dashboard that auto refreshes top line metrics like order, sales, sessions, and geographical data. You can also now use benchmarks to compare the performance of your store for a variety of metrics against other similar stores. And the customer cohort analysis report, you can understand the behavior, including the predicted spend tier and retention of your customers categorized by when the first order was made. This is a very interesting little update here that I haven't really seen much about, comparing your store and your analytics and your performance to other similar stores. Wow. So haven't really heard much about that. Maybe it was mentioned back last summer edition when they introduced the whole new analytics experience, and maybe I just forgot. But if you're wondering about this, as we can see, there's a little asterisk here because there is eligibility requirements. And if we look at these eligibility requirements for those analytical comparisons between stores, benchmark metrics for your store will display if the following conditions apply. You have sold at least one product in the last 30 days with an assigned product category to the product to determine your benchmark cohort. So it's not comparing to another store per se, it's comparing to benchmark data. There are enough, and then number two, the second eligibility requirement is there are enough similar stores in your benchmark cohort to provide meaningful benchmark. A benchmark might not be available if there isn't sufficient number of stores similar to yours, determined by order volume and the primary market country of your business, but it doesn't actually say any specific numbers here. And it says these conditions above apply to every benchmark metric. Not all benchmark metrics will be available to every store. A subset of benchmarks might be available based on those conditions. Wow, what an interesting little update. Honestly, this will probably have its own update, maybe coming up in the months to come, because that's a very fascinating strategy. You know, everybody uses analytics to compare one period to another of their own store, but to have this sort of benchmark for other stores in your primary market, other stores in your primary market selling maybe the same category of item is very, very interesting. It could also be quite humbling. But again, analytics is meant to show you a path to improvement, not to bring you down, comparing you to the benchmark. Very, very interesting. I can't wait to see another update on that because I haven't heard of that before. And just like that, guys, the video is over. We have 12 or 11 updates. Actually, a decent little update video. Usually, like I said before, after summer editions comes out, the developers take a little bit of a break. That's why there's not that many updates, but some interesting information there, you know, based on Shopify forums, replying directly to the customer with Shopify forums. And some crypto information there and some other customizations lower down here. Sorry, this video is a little late. I took a little vacation, took a little staycation, you know, that work-life balance when you're working remote and you're working on your Shopify stores and you're very, very, very busy is very important. Hope everybody is enjoying their summer because before you know it, Black Friday, Cyber Monday is going to be around the corner. The holidays are almost here. We are past midway of the year. I always used to think July is the midway mark, but it's technically the 7th month. And that's past halfway year. So I hope everyone's stores are doing good. As this video has helped you in any way, leave a like so I know. If you enjoy learning about Shopify, have your own Shopify store or stores, you want to join a free community of Shopify entrepreneurs, all chasing the same dream, consider subscribing. And if you do, I'll see you in the next video.